Oh boy. If you remember that previous video, which is probably likely either uploaded now or something, you probably might know that I said in that video that I had a lot to say about the Boston Celtics against the Philadelphia 76ers in that first round series. Boy, do I have a lot to say. Jason Tatum came back. You have to remember, in mid-May, he tore his Achilles. He was not supposed to play this season. He came back quicker than anyone expected and be returned in February this year and returned to the playoffs. And game one, that was a blowout. That was a blowout. But then game two, and now I need to emphasize this, Joel Embiid was out for the first 3 games. Joel Embiid was out for the first 3 games. And then in game 2, Sixers got their revenge. They won at TD Garden in Boston. And now the series is heading back to Philadelphia. And listen, I hate the Boston Celtics, but at the same time though, I can't stand the 76ers. I can't. So I can't stand either one of these two teams. But I want to say though, after game 3 was close, game 4, Joel Embiid. I'm surprised, like, that game was bad. It was an ugly blowout. But Joel Embiid was legitimately the only positive thing about that entire game 4. They lost both games in Philadelphia. The Boston Celtics are up 3-1. And I need to emphasize this. The Boston Celtics have never lost a series when up 3-1. And the Philadelphia 76ers had never won a series when down 3-1. And I need to emphasize this too. Joel Embiid was literally in a hospital about a month ago for surgery or something. They had something removed. So he wasn't even supposed to be in, like, that should have been season ending. And he came back in the playoffs. That is true warrior mentality right there. He wasn't 100%. And yet he still was like, no, my team needs me. I'm going to go help them out. So, game 4, Boston. I believe they were up by something like 12-10, something in the third quarter. It looked like, okay, this series is over. And then no. The Sixers dominated in that fourth quarter to essentially force game 6 back into Philadelphia. And then game 6 now. That was Philly domination right there. That was Philadelphia domination right there. Up by 20 at some point in that fourth quarter. Like Joel Embiid, they had no answers for that guy in game. And speaking of Joel Embiid, in the words of Bill Russell said it perfectly. The 2 greatest words in sports. Game 7. And it looked like for a second, Philly was in full control. But then Boston made it a game in that second quarter. Jaylen Brown and Derek White, as inconsistent as most of the others have been, other than Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown literally carried that Celtics team behind his back for most of the season. So he had to do it again in game 7 with Tatum out. Because you have to remember, now last time these two made game 7, Jason Tatum dropped 51 on their heads in a blowout. This time, they don't have him. And Joel Embiid even said a few years ago, when asked about the Celtics, this is not a rivalry. They always kick our ass. And in that tunnel to walk out, his outfit was literally just like shades and then his earbuds. Like, replicated LeBron 2016. And I immediately knew, oh yes, the Celtics were absolutely cooked. And Joel Embiid was not even 100% either. He was clearly hurt during this series, during Game 7, I mean. Yeah, he was clearly, he was hurt for most of the series, I mean, but he was definitely not feeling himself in 7. He was constantly hurt. He even had to leave, I think, at some point in the game, but he came back for 34 points. Tyrese Maxey as well had a game. The rookie from Baylor, VJ, I can't remember his name, unfortunately. He too had a really good game. And I'm sorry, and I know it was Saturday, but happy late birthday, Paul George. I mean, another stat I just knew was over for the Celtics. Apparently, according to somebody on Reddit, I didn't make it up. Somebody on Reddit said it. Apparently, when an NBA player is playing on a Game 7 on their birthday, it's a bad day for the opposing team. Paul George didn't have a big impact, but he helped his team, but he got points. It was enough for them to win behind Joel Embiid's 34-point game. I mean, but as for them, but okay. Before I talk about the Boston Celtics, I just wanted to say this. I want to give a big congratulations to the Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, listen, even as somebody who can't stand the Celtics and can't stand y'all either, I don't like the Celtics. So to see them go out in the first round by their punching bag of all teams, the 76ers has literally been the Celtics punching bag for years, especially with Tatum and Brown. So to see Joel Embiid finally end that talk by beating them, hey, you can't give him, you got to give the respect. He was not 100%. He knew his team needed him, and he did. I mean, congrats to them. But as for the Celtics, though, Jaylen Brown did his thing. Derek White also showed up. I mean, especially defensively with all those blocks. But this is where my questions about Joe Mazzulla come back into my head. Yes, he led them to that 2024 title, but look at the teams they faced. Most of them were injured. With Ime Udoka, they didn't have, like, with Ime Udoka, they beat the best of the best. Just falling short between Golden State and the finals. I mean, not starting Nicholas Ivakovic, who they got the center from the Bulls, they got in the trade deadline, not starting him in game 7, I'm just baffled. I mean, and not to mention, Brian Whitworth on ESPN summed it up perfectly. They live by the 3 and they die by the 3. When they make their threes, they win. When they don't, they lose. But man, even as somebody who does not like the Celtics, not seeing them in the Eastern Conference semifinals just feels so weird because they've mostly been in it. So this just shouldn't feel so weird. But at the same time, the East is open. The Detroit Pistons, Philadelphia 76ers, New York Knicks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, all 4 of them can literally go to the finals. It's wide open. No Boston, it's wide open.